I'm in the room.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to the Grown Woman Podcast
with your host, Marian, and
of course, Shakkiah.
Get ready for candid conversations, expert insights, and plenty of laughter along the way.
Of course.
Tune in and join our community of empowered women navigating life's journey with style and grace.
With style and grace. Love it. Tune in to today's episode. I love the intro every single time.
Hello.
Welcome to the Grown Woman Podcast.
We're a new spot.
We're in a new spot. So we're going to add our little groove, but we're just appreciative. We finally found a home. So shout out to Tone and his amazing space and dealing with all of the things that we've came with in just such a short time. Yes. So.
But we heard feedback.
And
you guys have been sending us feedback. The audio sometimes is not the best, so we're like, we gotta invest and do what people want us to do.
We scale up a little bit. Yeah. You invest in yourself.
Yes.
You look at what does it take.
Yes.
And then we found somebody who believes in us. Right?
That part.
And side note, he also said, "I see that you're as hood as I thought you were." No, I'm just lying. No, what he said was, it is refreshing to see that I'm not just a workaholic, that I actually have a human side. And my question to him was, so what you saying? That I'm hood too? He said, yeah. So I am human. If you guys did not know and don't see the other side of me, I am human. That was my get to know me today. Yeah. It was there get to know you?
No, I haven't even talked.
There wasn't. Okay.
So we have like a TV in front of us here. So we're always looking at.
Yeah.
We have to make sure we're
looking at the camera because the screen makes us look at our faces. And I'm super excited because we have these buttons, right? Ooh. He's going to make us clean buttons, but there's so many buttons. So if you wanted to really
a clean one.
I'm trying to see a clean one. So we don't, what is this? Oh, that wasn't a clean one, but these are the buttons. Hey, how do we turn that one? Okay. Maybe this one.
Fail.
Woo! So we're new with the buttons, guys.
We're learning.
We're going to have our own buttons, but you're going to hear a lot of these because I'm excited. I'm like a child with these buttons. Let me see another one. That's, what's push and P? No. Okay, no.
I think you click like the what is the other version?
Let's see this one. Okay.
Stop being weird, nigga.
Oh, that one wasn't a clean one either. All right, okay, so we're done with the buttons, but no, we're okay. We are in it. This is the Grown Woman Podcast. We're just excited about our new home and the buttons that we get to play with. Forgive us for all of the unclean things. But as you've learned, we're human.
Yes.
We're being humanized at this moment. So we're gonna start in with our check-in. Yeah. Our last session, our last episode, we were in Chicago. We were celebrating your birthday.
Still celebrating my birthday.
Oh. We are still celebrating her birthday.
Celebrating my birthday.
Happy birthday, Chica. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
So outside of that, though, we have so many things coming up. And I made notes because I didn't want to forget the things that we have coming. So you want to talk about the live podcast we're doing?
Well, let's do our check-in. First of what we did.
Okay, well, let's talk because you don't want to forget about her birthday.
We were in Chicago, and then you went to, where did you
go? To Louisiana to go check in on my daughter.
How was that?
I spent a week with my baby. She is my firstborn. So if you have been following, I was the teen mom, had her at 17. So she's a young lady now, and she's in her last year of school. And she called, and it just didn't sound right. So I'm like, hey, I got to hop on a plane and go see my baby. So started in Chicago and celebrated with you, and then hopped on a plane and went to Louisiana, Baton Rouge. Very different place. It was some good food. I'm allergic to shell food, so I couldn't eat a lot. But this one place called the Supper Club was amazing. Let me explain to y'all. So amazing. But outside of that, I was in mom mode. She taught me a lot. She had a lot to share with me. So our journey has been an ever growing journey because we grew up together. And so This time around, it's like, how do you raise and be with a young woman, a young adult? Because I can no longer tell her what to do. All I could do is mother and be a supportive friend, give wisdom, give guidance. But yeah, so it was an emotional yet fulfilling yet needed visit. So
I love that.
yeah, that was that. So
Yeah, so I went to New York like
yeah,
the day
you
after
did.
Chicago,
Yeah.
and it was a lot. I had fun, so I went to see my brother and my sister. We hadn't seen each other since like before the pandemic.
Oh wow.
So it had been 5 years. So I just went there, had some fun with the family, brought my daughter too with me. So
was this the first trip to New York?
For her, yes.
Okay.
For me, no.
Okay.
But it was a good time.
Yeah.
We had a good time. It's just when family gets together, my family is like drink.
Yeah.
I didn't,
so
and they were like,
all day.
no, I didn't sleep because they were drinking. And I was just watching them because I was just so tired and going to sleep every day at 4 or 5 in the morning, o'clock in the morning is like, what am I doing in New York?
And before
if I'm just
40,
gonna be sleeping,
I
can't
stay up all night. So imagine being 40.
But yeah, and then now back to work mode.
Yes. So was that our check-in?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a lot of things coming up.
Yes.
So we have our December 14th event, which is our brunching and networking. And it is called Purpose Filled 2025. And so it will be a brunch edition vision party networking event. So 4-hour event, workshop / come get your life together / 2025. We're ready for you. But super excited. We have Shakkiah Danielle, which is my younger sister, my baby sister. But she is a viral sensation, right? So she is a content creator. She makes 7 figures. She just followed her dream and utilized her gifts and became this amazing kind of influencer that is changing the game. So she'll be there. We'll do a live podcast doing this. Also, we have Dr. Joe Johnson that will be in the building where he is talking about transformation. Oh, the claps, the buttons, guys, the buttons. And that was the right button.
Yes.
And then outside of that, we'll actually do like a vision board. We're going to talk about some finances. We're going to talk about just getting ourselves prepared for 2025. Yeah. So hopefully we will remember to post the Eventbrite link with this episode, but you got to be there. 150 women will be in the room. That is the limit. That is the cutoff. So we're about 50 tickets right now. So when this airs, I don't know how many we will have left, but make sure you tune in for that. And then we also have the live podcast.
So this brunch networking, which we'll talk about it more, is not under the Grown Woman podcast. It's under the umbrella of the Pink Hustle, which is our next venture that we're partnering on together, and we'll share more in the next couple of minutes. But on the 29th, we have our next live podcast. And if you watch the episode of the first one that we did, you don't want to miss this one because it was amazing. Got heated.
We got a hand up in the background. You was there. How what was it? Give us just like 2 seconds of what was your thoughts. Come on, let them hear you. This is our producer in the background / finna be manager / finna take us to the top of the game. Come on. Come on.
That's a lot of titles.
There's titles, but baby, we speaking into existence.
I'll take it.
Okay. How was the live podcast?
Podcast, it was dope.
Yeah.
For an individual who's been doing this for 13 years. You guys had a phenomenal turnout. You had a very diverse crowd, which I love to death.
Listen, we had the chicas and the ninjas.
I wasn't the one who said that, okay?
I said ninjas.
You said ninjas. But you guys actually had what I feel is a very dope conversation with the dope energy, with the dope group of people. Which was part of the reason why I actually was like, yo,
that was how we connected actually through this.
Even though I've known you before then, but I really said I gotta support y'all.
Regardless. We appreciate that.
Yeah, no. And so this one we're super excited about because we talked about this the last time we were in the studio. We're talking about the Friendsgiving edition, like the dating and holidays. Do you bring your new boo to Thanksgiving? And like, what is it like dating interracially or going to, if you are an amazing Black woman like me, like, and you are dating somebody outside your race, like, what do they bring for Thanksgiving? So we're going to just have a conversation on
We won't talk about that
relationships
today.
and all of those things. So you don't want to miss. And
You
you
don't
heard the
wanna miss
producer in the
it.
background. He already
wanna
said
miss
we
it.
live, right?
We it's gonna be so much fun. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be on the 29th
Yeah.
of this month at Wall Street Stock Bar.
Yeah.
We'll try to remember to
Put,
add
to
the
put
link.
both of those links
Because-
at the bottom. We're putting it in our producer's ear. Y'all hear? We keep
Yes.
saying we got a producer.
Yes.
So he can help us put that. So
So
yeah,
we'll put
so we
that
got
there.
the brunch with the Pink Hustle, and
December
then
14th.
we have the live podcast. We
November
have something
29th.
else coming up in February, which will be focused on like dating.
We'll talk
okay,
about that
okay, we're
later.
gonna go
It's
to
going to
that.
be a surprise.
We want to talk about that. So don't miss out, y'all. Come
Don't.
join us. Come hang with us. Outside of that, I think we were talking about what the Pink Hustle is. So just check us out. This is something we're doing. It's a total of 3 of us, and we're growing the team, but we're focusing on getting women into tech, right? So we're looking at fashion tech, fintech, health tech, and sports entertainment. And so if those are areas that you're interested in, check out thepinkhustle.com. We're here to help all 2025. We're helping you to get into that space as well as helping businesses leverage tools to scale and grow their business. So that is the focus. We don't just sit here and talk conversation, but we're also helping to build and change the game. So
yep. Very excited.
But the
it's going
topic
to
for
be
today,
a very busy 2025 for us.
but the topic for today, y'all. So let me give y'all the context of why work versus play. Balancing professionalism and authenticity as a woman in business. So as you know, we were in Chicago our last episode, and she's laughing because a lot of this has things to do with our conversation, right?
It was my birthday, okay?
It was her birthday, and we were also working, and so
I didn't know we were also working.
Can I tell before she guilty? Like, you already telling off on yourself. So in the midst of this trip, we were still working. We're in my mind, right? I work at a different. I'm different, right? Where I always feel we're working, and that is why it's great to have people who are very different from you, because the other 2 partners, you wanted to separate work and play. And so with that, it created just some situations where
it wasn't bad.
We recognize that, can you work and play? Can you be in an atmosphere and be looked at as a professional, as a businesswoman, as someone that is growing, still do a business deal, and then once the business deal is done, be your authentic self and have conversations that as Tone said, humanize you. And so we were at this very exclusive cigar bar in Chicago.
I'm pretty sure my boss care about me.
And so we went in there with the hopes, or not the hopes, we were invited by an individual, and this individual was super dope. And so the goal was just to meet, to catch up. We had other people with us to catch up, to really just get a context about who he is, where he's moving, and how we can build going toward the future. Outside of that space, right there, you go into a cigar bar, there's men. There's a lot of
Lots
men,
of them.
right? There were a lot of men. We were the only females in the building. I'm a part of a cigar club here. And so anytime I go into cigar lounges, it's majority of the time men. It's very men heavy. The reason I joined a cigar bar is because it's just like the golf course. You go where business is, right? And so being in the space of tech, being in the space of consulting, business strategy, a lot of that is around men. And so I'm giving all of this context. So when we talk about the questions of, can you separate your work, your brand, from play? Or do you always need to be in a mode and in a position where you have to think about who you are and who your brand is? And so being in this space, of course, when you're with men and then there's women, the conversations go to, I call it the red pill, the blue pill community, where it's always like the man's point of view, the woman's point of view. And then it get into these like gritty conversations around who's better, what's better, just context. just think about men in their space and in their zone, and then women infiltrating and what those conversations sound like. So the conversations got very interesting, right?
It did, but let me just.
I'm not talking about what the conversation said.
Okay.
All I'm saying is they got very interesting, and so it left the professional space and went into some um personal thoughts or personal opinions. That's a great. So personal opinions, and the conversations just kept going. And so for me, the next day I was just like, "Ooh, right? Did that hinder or hurt?" Right? This is a grown woman conversation. Did that hinder or hurt us as professional women being in that space, knowing that a couple of those gentlemen will be men that we'll be reaching out for business? Does that change their perspective of how they see us because we allowed ourselves to be human and have these kind of conversations that are trivial, and some may say a little, what's the word? Maybe promiscuous, or just having adult kind of conversations. Does that change the narrative in who you are as a brand? Does that hurt the brand? And so the next day we had this conversation, and like I felt like we had different opinions or different views on, can you work and play, or is it always remembering you're the brand? So you can hop in before the questions come.
I feel like we won't agree on this topic because I like playing a lot. And in my
explain, I was going to
defense,
say, explain the play. Like when
I
we
like
say
to
play,
have
it's
fun.
not like
I like
kitty.
to have
Yeah.
fun. Like I don't want to go in places and just be in working mode all the time. Like I want to get loose.
Yeah.
And I usually get very loose,
Yeah.
when I'm not in my seat.
And so me and
Like
her,
you will never see me.
I'm very uptight. That's the difference. I'm uptight. I'll have fun, but I'm only having fun in a safe circle. Marian is very opposite, and I love that she's always like, what? Like let's laugh, let's play. And I'm always like, nope, 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 nope. Like people are going to know.
But have you noticed that I don't do that in Milwaukee? Like I don't get loose. Like I get loose in other
But that's
places.
what I'm saying. So just kind of give your.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm conflicted because, like I said, like when I'm not in my city, it's not like I have two personalities.
Yeah.
But I get loose differently because I'm like,
when she say loose, you may need to define that because people
I
are
have
like
fun.
loose.
I dance. Whatever. Yeah. I do my little twerking and stuff. But when I'm in Milwaukee,
did she say twerking?
My little twerk.
Did y'all hear that?
What is that?
Oh, it was a button. It was supposed to go down. Okay. Okay.
But when I'm in my city, you will never see me or hear me talk the way or how I have fun in other places. Yeah. Nobody knows me. So
so that's a great question too. And we're going to get back to the questions that I have down for today's episode. But why do you feel you have to go out of town to be able to be free to twerk, to have fun, to be a woman, to show that side of yourself outside of where we live?
I just feel like that's not the persona that I want to show with people that see me. Like, because when I go out here, unless I go out with you, most of the time it's networking. Most of the time it's corporate. Like when I'm out in Milwaukee, it's usually always work. Now that I think about it, unless we go to dinner and stuff, and it's always something chill. But you will never really see me at a club in Milwaukee. Unless like. It's very rare. Like it's always
I don't go out. We do drinks, we do dinner. Those type
it's
of
always
things.
upscale. We will never go to like. I'm sorry.
Well,
downward ratchet stuff.
But we didn't. I mean, I don't feel that was ratchet where we was, but so the question comes back to kind of this work versus play of does it diminish a woman's ability to do business if she plays where she's working? So again, we networking, the networking was done, the business meeting was over, and was still in this cigar lounge. And again, it turned into just, fun. So imagine what that looks like.
I mean, if I would have gone in there knowing that it was a work thing.
Yeah. But this was the thing.
A totally different
so we
thing.
did the work thing. And yes, it was birthday mode. And again, it was 3 of us. It was technically 5 of us, but 3 females. And for me, because I'm always so tight around brand and business, right? I was able to, I feel like I'm a natural flirt, right? But I also like my talking flirt is about money, business, what we gonna do, right? I'm very straight, like, hey, we making money. Are we gonna work? Are we networking? Do you know somebody else who could do it? Like that's my flirting game, right? And so understanding mine, I smiled, I did do a little thing, but that was it because in my mind, I'm always like, when I'm out in public or even when I'm out in something that looks like a lounge or something where we're hanging out, I'm still thinking business and brand.
I honestly, I still didn't know that we were.
Yeah.
To this day, I'm like, we were working. I had no idea.
Right. But in to be fair, in our industry, we will always be in arenas and in places where it look like it's for play when we're there working. Yeah. Because where we're networking is, again, is where you go into places where there is a majority of men, but it's also in their camps. We have to go and infiltrate the golf course, the lounges, the wine lounges, the cigar bars, because I need to be where individuals are. And so that is the question.
So I guess that I'll say this, and maybe this will answer the question. Like, because you said, why don't you do it where you live? And we're both two attractive women.
Yeah.
And when people approach me, especially men, I want them to make sure that they're not approaching me for the wrong reasons if we're gonna do business. So that's why I always have like straight face. That's why I'm always gonna be wearing my suits when we go out, to do business. And that's why I separated here. So because I think,
we were comfortable and casual. We were out. We got the call like, hey, meet us here. So and so is in town. Let's go. Right. For me, I'm like, and I had on just like cute little jogging suit. I didn't need a business suit to say business. Again, that's the difference for me, though. I'm always like, I'm just always prepared and mentally I never want somebody to look at me differently. But that doesn't mean that's the right thing.
Yeah.
Like, is it wrong as a woman to still show your softer side in the space of creating business?
I don't think it's wrong, but I know that especially like when you're around a lot of men and we're having the conversations that we were having and having the fun that we were having, of course they're gonna look at you differently.
Yeah, but is that fair?
I don't think it's fair, but it's men. That's how men are. That
men could talk in a way that may be promiscuous or may be considered unprofessional, and they're not judged, right? But if a female does the same thing, and regardless, like how we're dressed, what we look like, then we're considered. We're considered.
Yeah,
thirsty.
Maybe this is a conversation that we need to bring men in, because when we walked,
when we walked in, it was like sharks attacking the fish in the tank.
But they were like uptight.
They were like, "Why are you here?" And I'm like, "Hold up."
But then once we started being cool and like, I was a man in my other life. I'm 100% sure.
I always say that.
That in my other life, I was a man because the way I can just get a man to open up, it's just so easy.
Well,
so
that may be the power of a woman. So I don't know.
Like after like 30 minutes or something, they were all like cracking jokes, having fun. So I don't know. Maybe we need to ask
the power. I was going to say that has to be the power of a woman, because it was at least 15 men. Right.
And they were all cracking jokes by the end of the night.
They were. But I also question, when it gets to that point, do they see us differently? One thing I don't
have to go back and ask them.
A room full of men is never to see me as lesser than, to see me as what I am, which is a businesswoman. Yeah. And I came in to create business, to produce something, to network. So don't lesser the value of who I am because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's why I'm always in the mind space of like, you won't get to see the personal side of me. So Tone, he made that crack today of like, I've never seen you out of your professional space. Well, I'm always that. Like, I love to have fun. You know me. I love to joke. I love music and all that. But no one's going to see that unless they're in a space with me. That is my immediate circle.
I think the only time that I have not seen you working mode was when we went to DC. Like that we were out and about.
And y'all, I have a special love for DC.
But she still, like, we met some people and she's like, oh, I think we can do business with it. But she didn't bring it up in the conversation afterwards.
Because I'm always business mode. I'm always like, what can we create? What can we build? Because that's important to me, right? I'm always business facing on what can we produce, or what can I build? Like, I never meet somebody and question, like, if this is right, like I just don't separate it. I'm always like, if you meet a person, you can either build with them, network with them, they know somebody, like something. And so I'm always
unless
in
it's
a
me
space.
and I fall in love with the 3 business.
She falls in love with 3 business days, and I'm never ever thinking like one thing I never do.
One thing
I can
that
separate.
I need to separate.
I can separate this chica. Listen,
I'll call
you could
off,
be. Listen, you could be
'cause
fine.
This is what I think. I'm like, I can do it, and I'm show you that I don't need you to do it. But I need to.
But then she falls in love in the same sentence. Like, how are you gonna be hardcore? Listen, you could be fine. You can smell good. You can have all the things that I look for on the checklist. One thing I'm not gonna do is mess up my money. I'm not messing up opportunity. I'm not messing up building or an opportunity to create some type of professional networking. Someone told me that I'm a professional dinner goer, right? Because I'm always, I love to eat. So we're gonna meet and we're gonna do business. You're gonna take me to a space,
and I'm learning because I've been doing dinner and breakfast. It's so nice because you're always taking care of.
Listen, right? Like that is how we network and build. But I question that, and so I would love to hear feedback from both. Like, when you're watching this episode, can a woman work and play? Can a woman still be seen as professional when she's having these when she's showing herself, her vulnerable feminine side in a room where she's also trying to build business? Can you work and play? I don't know.
I'm conflicted because, again, like I said, I don't do it when I'm in Milwaukee. You will never see me twerking anywhere.
Twerking. If I could twerk, that would be an issue. But because I can't, that question isn't for me. But I also have so kind of going on that, right? Because half of it was I would say, I'm taking myself out of it.
All of the ladies that were there,
right?
Stop taking yourself out of it.
What boundaries or what needs to be set between like dating, flirting, and working in the professional setting? Like, would you ever date somebody you worked with?
No, not me.
But you would have a conversation with a man about things outside of the professional space that you worked with? Or building
that
business
I work with? No.
Or building
that
business
I
with?
See every single day?
Yeah.
No.
But okay, so think about this, right? We're building a brand and we're networking, but we would have conversations outside the professional space. Would you date somebody that we are trying to create as a client?
Well, if down the road there's a click. Yeah.
See, and that's where we're different, because I'm always like, I'm not fin to interfere with my money.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if the initial meeting with this person was about business, right? And we built the business already, and we're already doing, and down the road, something, I'm not gonna stop.
She's not gonna stop
my feelings for that. But
it could mess up a whole entire.
That's why you get everything in paper. That's why we get everything on paper.
Come on, so men are more emotional than women. You think, listen, men are more emotional. We can sit here and pretend that man not gonna be mad if it don't work out. He will pull the whole deal because y'all didn't do nothing. What Tone is looking this way? What you got to say, Tone? I mean, if you gonna hop in. What you got to say? Turn it up.
I mean, honestly, if money is being made and we don't work out, I'm not gonna stop the paper because we didn't.
But that's
work out.
That's you. I feel that men have become more sassy and emotional.
But then you're contradicting yourself.
Some of them been that way though.
For me?
Yeah.
Well, how am I contradicting
because
myself?
You're telling me with a specific situation that I had, that like, well, we can still do business with this individual even if, and I'm like, but then you're saying
because
no.
On my side, I still have a relationship with that individual that does not interfere.
But in my side, it would interfere.
Yes, because 3 business days happen.
But that just
wait
means
a minute.
business has to go through her.
But the 3 business days did not happen.
But this is the thing. He don't have the problem.
We don't know that because we have never talked to him about that at business.
But we can't because of the current situation.
I want.
You see?
You know why? Because we are 2 powerful women and we can do it.
Okay.
Without connections.
We listen.
Of this individual.
I'm
not lying. We can do
it. The biggest lie we tell
ourselves. We can do it without the connection.
But this
you
is
know
my
what?
thing.
This is my thing. let me
She
tell
about
you
to
something.
preach. Come
and
on.
this is maybe my independent.
Spicy.
My independence. This is. I would hate for a man to say in the future, "I help you get this."
Let me explain to you. He
That
can say,
part.
listen, he can say he helped. He can say he wrote the check. He can say he helped deposit it. None of those things affect me when I know it's me that's doing the work.
If you can be upfront and trustworthy in a relationship, what makes you think you can be trustworthy and
See, this
upfront
is,
in a
but
business?
this goes right back
Because
to
money is
Kim.
being made.
Listen,
I
and
don't
this
know.
is where I feel that I
I
am
don't
less
know.
emotional in the space of I can separate home and state. I can separate church and state. Of
I
if we're
can.
doing, if we're making money, we're doing business. That's very separate from my personal life. But the rule for me is I don't date people that I'm doing business with.
But then you're telling me to do otherwise.
No, because that y'all started the opposite way. I wish we would
It
have
wasn't
started
the opposite.
in the business space.
But we never talked about business. This situation started with him and I talking, and then
He's gonna watch this and
business
know
thing.
who we're
He's
talking
not
about.
gonna watch this. He doesn't watch. He doesn't
He's
watch.
gonna watch this and know what we're talking about. Okay,
If
so
you're watching this, I'm just
No.
kidding.
Listen, if you guys can see the emotions, who's the emotional person here? So if we go back to, so this comes to the question of, can a woman be attracted or attractive and flow in a room and work with men and it not be taken the wrong way?
I don't know. I think that's a question that we need to ask a man because
Can you, because you're talking about who you are, right?
Mhm.
The way that we dress, the way that we move, does it affect how we do business?
I think it could, because again, to my point earlier, I would never have conversations or things like the conversations that we had with people that I'm doing business with. Now, if a friendship is created, because when you do business, friendships are created.
Yeah.
Down the road, that's a different story,
Yeah.
right? But at the beginning,
should there still be boundaries?
I think there should be boundaries,
Okay.
especially if he's a man.
So it goes back to, we're always representing the brand. Can we separate the brand from who we are?
If we don't bring it up, then yeah, we can separate the brand.
How? If you are the brand.
Do I have the pink hustle everywhere I go?
No, but okay. Do you have the pink hustle everywhere you go? Are you building a business?
Yeah.
Are you building a brand?
Yeah.
So when you walk in a room, when do you take the hat off and say, today I'm not building a business and today I'm not building a brand?
I don't think you ever take the hat off. I think people are going to think what they think.
But you just said, am I wearing it on my forehead?
Well, I don't know.
Listen, I'm curious. I would love feedback. I would love for people to
let us know what
can you separate the two? I feel that you cannot. I feel that I'm always a walking poster for what I'm building and what I'm creating.
But then we're never gonna have fun and enjoy life.
We can have fun and we can enjoy life. But in the honesty of it is, you just made a point. I never really see Kia come out of it. The only time was DC. And that was nighttime. We were in the club and I talked to nobody about anything that I was doing. Nothing.
Well, then that's the way then that's the way we're gonna do it. That's the way we're gonna do it.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Any other comments you have on that?
No. Just
do you feel attacked?
Tough.
Do you feel
no?
Oh, okay,
we just wait. This is how I talk. It's not. I don't argue. Although people sometimes think I'm arguing.
You don't do what?
I don't argue. I just talk.
Tell them what you just call her.
Oh, spicy little pepper.
That's just
Spicy
how I
little
talk.
pepper.
But it's not that I'm arguing. I'm just passionate when I'm talking.
Oh, okay. Men, she's just passionate when she's talking. So tell me this. Can a woman express themselves freely in both business and personal spaces without judgment?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Because, and we talked about this in the last episode. Yeah. Especially in the corporate world, like
I want you to
we are always women are always judged by men as emotional. And I say this because I've been blessed to have mentors or to have women that trust me, who are executive levels, that have shared things with me that executive men have said to them that I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
So we're always seen as these like emotional. And there's nothing wrong with being emotional. We're women.
Yeah.
That's what makes us different. So we will always be judged.
Okay. What's your thoughts, Tone?
Can you read the question one more time?
Can a woman authentically be herself personally and professionally without being judged?
No.
I don't think they heard you. Is your mic on?
My mic, no.
Oh, okay.
It's
right.
No. It's no.
But why?
In corporate America, it's a man's world. It's always been a man's world. Y'all are just recently being allowed to be in the spaces and places we're allowing y'all to be in.
Therefore, not allowing us, but it's facts.
It's facts. I hate using this the way I'm using it, but it's facts. I will always talk facts when this microphone is on. And because of that, you guys are always going to be considered a threat. You guys will always be.
So we can't freely be ourselves because we're considered a threat.
You always be considered a threat. Interesting. And then based on people's cultures and their belief structures and how they look at the patriarch and whatnot, you sometimes can't be allowed to have positions that you may be overqualified for. EI, look at the elections that just passed.
Oh, please don't start that
conversation.
Oh my gosh.
EI, look at that.
Yeah.
And the crazy part, it happened twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This wasn't the first time. It happened both times. And both times, a woman was definitely more qualified than the man that won. So no, y'all can never freely be yourselves in those spaces and places, which is why it's important for women to create y'all circles and y'all spaces and y'all sisterhoods and y'all organizations to help y'all be able to survive in those spaces and places that you're not technically supposed to be in.
Listen, I can't even argue against that because that was all facts. That was all facts. We may have to promote you, Tom. What is... Listen,
he's about to join us.
Listen, we're going to have to promote this man.
I will not take the role of co-host.
No, but the fact that a man can be honest, that a woman, an educated woman, a powerful woman, a businesswoman is seen as a threat is bananas. Like, that is a wild world we live in. And I did not want to bring up this election.
I know.
I did not want to talk about this, but the example that was stated of the qualifications, if we went on the qualifications alone, right? How when a woman and a woman of color walks into the room, that she becomes a threat. Is that how you feel when you walk in rooms?
I'm always portrayed as aggressive.
Oh.
And I'll share this, and of course, I'm not going to share names, but once I applied for a role and it wasn't given to me, although I was getting prepared, or this person was preparing me for this role.
And you were qualified. Were you overqualified?
Yeah. I don't know if she considered me overqualified. I don't know if that person considered me overqualified, but I had a mentor that, because the excuse that I got didn't make sense because it was due to location. And I was like, well, that's the first conversation that we had. Yeah. I told you I was never going to relocate. So why would you tell me I didn't get the job because of the location? So a mentor told me, he's like, that is the problem with people that haven't worked with women of color. Because I was like, maybe I need to change something in me, maybe work in my communication style. And what he said to me, he's like, I have never conversation with you where I felt like you attacked me, where I felt that you disrespected me. And I have never heard anyone coming up to me to say otherwise. But there's some people that are not used to working with women like you, and they get intimidated, especially other women, which is sad.
Oh, see, you brought up something that I did not want to bring up, because in this space, I am so protective over women, especially just due to the election and the things that just happened. But that is true. Like, when you are a woman who knows who you are building, you are qualified, overqualified. Not only are you a threat to the men in the room.
And you know what the worst thing is?
Yeah.
When you have all that and people like you a lot.
What do you mean?
People like you. You're just going to places and people like,
it's
just
energy,
are drawn
it's the favor.
To you.
It's my gift,
anointing,
superpower. Yeah.
That makes it even worse.
Yeah. And so having the threat of not just men, but having the threat of women because of who you are creates another reason that I'm always professional anytime I walk in a room, that I'm always so cognizant of my actions, my behaviors. What do people think? What will people see? Because I understand like that can tarnish an opportunity. So we come back to the same question of, can you separate yourself from the brand? Which it sounds like you can't.
I don't know how to do that.
It sounds like you can't. And so
I can't even walk. I can't even walk.
We're twerking only at night. I
hope
in the
my
club.
church isn't watching this.
If we're twerking, it's only being twerked in the places that says twerk, and we're not talking business.
You know what? That eventually there's gonna be a point where I'm gonna have to, because we're gonna.
But you're gonna have to twerk.
No, because we're gonna. I know we're gonna blow
have
up.
to twerk.
No, listen to me.
No, say what you
we're
said.
gonna have to. I'm gonna have to separate completely.
I almost said the N word. You have to separate that now.
No, I said that I'm gonna eventually. This is what I'm saying. That even if I'm in another city and I want to separate myself, we're gonna be so big
that you're gonna have to put twerking to the side,
and I'm gonna have to give up on the twerking.
She said eventually, so we still have some conversations, y'all. All right, so my last question, because we talked about this, the biases and double standards for men and women, right? Because men can go in and talk about whatever they want to talk about, do whatever they want to do. They can flirt with the women at their job. They could sleep with the women at their job. They could do all the things.
And if we
right? But if a woman does the same thing, she automatically becomes less valued, right? Another reason, it goes back to my point of caring about what it is that you do, because we have to walk in totes such a persona, because it is the bias and is the double standard. So Tone, I'm gonna call on you again, because you obviously are in this episode, because we need a man's opinion.
I am the voice of the man.
You are the voice of the man for today, of the double standards for what is considered professional for a man and what is considered professional for a woman. So for example, the way that we dress. A man can wear what he chooses and still be looked at as somebody that is professional. I can come in and I can choose to wear a short skirt, or I could choose to wear joggers and a blazer, whatever the case. I'm going to be judged based off of the same outfit that a man is wearing, and he will be looked at as differently. Or he can have tons of conversations with all the women in the workplace, all the women that are in the room, and no one will ever question that. But if a woman is having dinners, conversing, or seen with a lot of men, there's automatically this prejudice put on her. Talk to me. Why?
Okay, you trying to get me kicked out?
Come on, club. You listen. You trying to get promoted? We ain't talking about the boys' club.
I mean, you can't get me kicked out the man cave, man. They gonna come back and
come on.
You trying to get me in trouble? Nah, but seriously, it's just the way the stigma has always been placed in regards to corporate America, or just America. Period.
I was gonna say, I'm not in corporate, right? So in just the regular space,
right? In just everyday regular spaces and places, women are supposed to be appealing to the eyes for men. They always say we're visual people. They say that about men. So when you come off as attractive, or when you come off as beautiful, you come off as something to be desired and sought after, we are by default going to try to pursue you. Even men who know they are underqualified for the women that they shoot their shots at, they still gonna shoot it though, because that's just what we do.
And that's the thing, like
you look, she want to say something so bad.
She's more. It's her show. It's your show.
And like, if I'm trying to do business with you, and you try to hit on me, the business deal is over, because I just feel like you don't respect me.
And a lot of men can't.
Now, if I like you, I'm gonna.
Why they can't separate? That's true though.
Men are harder.
Why men can't separate seeing a beautiful woman and doing business? It becomes a goal.
Because they don't want to miss out on the opportunity.
I don't want to miss out on the opportunity.
I know what you're saying. I agree. I have a rule. I have a
rule
even here that I don't mix business with pleasure. So I get it. I completely understand. I even say it in spaces and places that it don't need to look. I don't mix business with pleasure. I don't cross them lines.
I don't believe you. I mean, I'm not saying it's hard for me to believe.
No, I do. Anytime I interview people in regards to starting to work with them, one of the things. So
you saying you a faithful one?
I say that I don't cross the line.
See, why you can't say that you're a faithful one? Yes or no?
Because I'm not going to mess up my money. Is the reason why I don't cross that line.
You still ain't say yes or no?
I am faithful.
Okay. Why your voice in the octave go low?
Because it was a question you threw at me. Like, can I finish?
Because you should know. But keep going. I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm trying to promote you. One when it's time to be faithful. When I am free as a bird, I am free as a bird, but I still won't mix business with pleasure. So if I know we're going to conduct business, I don't cross that line until either A, the business deal is done, or B, we're not.
See, that's
gonna
what
do
I
business
said
with
You
you.
put the caveat on until
I
the
said
business
that
deal
earlier.
is done.
That's what I
I
said
don't
earlier.
feel that there should ever be a cross. Once we do business, you off the market for me.
No, when I say
can't.
done, like
What
you
if
can,
he looks super
But
good?
that's if he looks super good, then you got to make the decision. You have
When
to
the
make the
business
But
is
what
for
if,
me.
this is what I'm saying. What if, like he said, like, what if, for example, let's say for a business, there's somebody that we meet and we're doing business with, whatever, and down the road,
yeah.
like something happens where like him and I click. You don't want me to find love?
I want you to find love, but nothing that's interfering in what we doing.
As long as everything is on paper, it shouldn't.
That is still not
You
a
know why you're
justification.
saying that? Because you had a bad experience. Oopsie! Trauma response.
I couldn't even say anything. There was an experience, and it taught me, right? You're supposed to learn from your experiences.
But you still want me to do business with this individual.
You do not mix business with pleasure.
But
and
you
I've
still
learned
wanted me
the
to
very hard way and in a very expensive way at that.
But you are contradicting yourself.
I'm not contradicting.
No, she's protecting herself.
I am. But what I did tell
with
you,
me, she's
what I did tell you was we could have done business if there wouldn't have been a situation that ended the way that it ended with you guys.
We never started talking business wise when this thing came.
Okay, I see you feel away because you keep bringing it up.
No, I don't feel away. I just said that you're contradicting yourself.
You just keep using it as the most recent example.
It is just.
It's the only example.
Okay.
We only had the podcast. We only had the podcast. We hadn't really finalized anything about the pink hustle. So the pink hustle.
Yeah. But I did have an experience and I did learn from it. And so I stick very true to my
and you had everything to my
rules. We did have everything on paper. Okay. Right? But men are emotional, right? I know we love to say women are emotional, but he was very emotional. And so when the relationship stopped, the business portion stopped. And it became a very ugly situation financially of who was responsible, although we had a contract, although we had business accounts, all of those things, but the emotion couldn't be separated from the business. I was like, what we doing? Let's keep making money. Let's keep going. And he didn't want to.
Can I ask a question?
Depends on what's the question.
How long was the personal situation in time-wise? Because when you do history,
why are you looking at me?
Because when you add history to it, it is difficult to separate the two because you're forcing.
We started in business and then ended up in a personal relationship. And once the personal side was done, the business part couldn't continue because.
How long was the personal?
About 1.5 years, maybe almost 2.
Okay. That's a nice chunk of time.
Okay, separated.
To still be emotionally invested in someone.
It's separated.
How much, once the personal emotional investment got involved, how much was still catered towards business? So when y'all sat down.
So when we separated, my main question was, from the beginning, I asked, can we still do business if this doesn't work? That individual said yes.
That's in the beginning.
Listen, sir. At the end of the day, it didn't. Okay, I get it. I was able to separate. I was able to separate the emotions and the business. He was not. And so the lesson that I learned was that those two don't mix. So regardless of how attractive I feel that a man is, how much attractive he is towards me, if we came into this arena for business, I will make sure it stays in that space.
I have to kind of slightly disagree with you. I don't fully agree with her, but I slightly disagree with you as well, too.
Mm-hmm.
You can have personal and business at the exact same time with the same person.
Feel if you are together. No. So this is my thing about that.
Here's the caveat, though. You both have to be business-minded individuals.
I would agree with that. But I also feel like there has to be a plan of building together. If this is not long-term, if you don't see a long-term plan with this person, or if you don't see this as your person, so that's the difference. Like, if I don't see a future, if I don't see that we're walking down this road, that means togetherness forever. What we building for?
Do y'all often have separate conversations that were strictly business conversations 100%. Only?
That's how we started. It's in business.
It doesn't, just because you started and once you add the personal.
He's sounding emotional too. Look at this.
I'm very logical. I have emotions, but I'm also very logical because I can separate the two.
Yeah.
But I also am a person who likes to specifically set aside time that's specifically just for business conversation. We could be hating, we could be mad at each other. You could have crashed the car and I'm highly upset at you. But if at 10 o'clock on Sunday, we sit down and we talk about how we building this brand, I'm just going to be sitting there mad at you, but we still going to have this conversation about building this brand.
And it could have been the maturity level of the individual. But for me personally, I just feel that if we're going in to meet a client or meet a potential person that is going to be or potentially have a relationship with us that will build or create opportunity, that we, meaning me, you, and then our other person should allow that to be separate. That we shouldn't play with them. We shouldn't date them. It should be just a very business oriented.
I'm not gonna block my love blessings.
This is just my opinion.
It's your opinion.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. All I'm saying is myself, when I walk in rooms, that's how I feel and think. She's very different than I am.
So in those situations, a suggestion, because I've had to deal with this in the past with my other business partners as well too, when it seems as if, let's just use her for an example, you're with a potential client and you notice in the initial meeting that they're flirting a lot.
Oh, they all flirt.
I will never flirt. If we're in a business.
Hold on, hear me out.
All men flirt.
Hear me out.
All men flirt.
And it looks like it, not in that moment, but later on down the road, you can see that their sparks can be there. In that situation, I would say the person who is not having the romantic interest in them to have the one that takes the lead on the business side.
And that is a great.
But how she's gonna take the lead on the business if we're in this together, like we're partners?
That's where she gets your input in regards to certain. So you two have conversations.
3 business days. You got to choose now.
Right.
You got to choose.
So like if you're dating,
you gotta
of course
choose.
you and
listen. Why we're talking about this if it hasn't even happened?
It can get very tricky because even with the business side, because let's just use as an example, you and the client are now dating, and when you're on dates, you may have small little business meetings over conversation just because you are, and now you two come.
That's what she wanted to do,
and you two be on the same page. That's what you come back to her.
That's what she wanted. Now she's contradicting herself.
So it tends to play the.
We can still meet with him to talk about business.
I could have took the lead.
You're listening to this.
I could have took the lead because there was a lot of potential there for us to build opportunity. I could have took the lead.
We'll find a new potential.
We appreciate your 2 cents as we close this and get off of me and my experiences. All I'm saying as we wrap this up is I believe that
weird, nigga.
These buttons is going to create some. These buttons are going to create something.
We need some clean ones.
We are getting clean ones. But so the whole conversation was just around work versus play, right? The business of professionalism. How do you separate the two? Do you need to separate the two? And as women, attractive women going into male-dominated spaces, is it important that we protect what it is that we're putting out there, what our persona looks like as we're building a brand? So you heard my 2 cents, you heard Marian's 5 cents, you heard Tone's 50 cents, right? And so again, just those are thoughts, and we would love to hear feedback. Yeah, we would love to hear what your thoughts are.
Leave your comments, send us.
And I guess we'll kind of figure that out as we go to the next episode. But that is what we have for y'all today. Do not forget to subscribe, to share with another woman, to like, and to keep supporting.
And if you have any topics that you want to hear, let us know and we can help. We can
help
bring it to
the table. What are we doing?
We can help you out. Yeah. We can, I don't know, whatever it is, whatever we gotta do.
She's so discombobulated about this whole dating boundary situation.
Honestly, I'm off the market.
Who are you dating, Jesus?
I'm off the market because I don't want to do this anymore.
Listen, I guarantee
who you dating, Jesus?
In the next episode, she's going to be back on the market. Okay, guys, this is a hot, cold situation. We're going to have to get a therapist on the next one.
Listen, I'm going to start sharing my dating experiences here.
You just said you off the market.
The previous one.
So you dating them all?
No.
See, we want to be real or we don't want to be real. What do we want to do?
I did go on a little date the other day. It was fine. It was fine.
We on the market or we off?
I think I'm off the market for a little bit.
All right, she dating Jesus until Sunday, and then she'll be back dating Monday, y'all.
Maybe.
All right,
maybe 2025.
Don't forget, we have our brunch and networking event December 14th. The link will be under this podcast. We're also doing our live podcast recording November 29th.
Friendsgiving edition. That's going to be fun.
That is going to be off the chain. You already heard what that's going to be. So make sure to join us. The space is limited. That link will also be below. But that's all we got. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Grown Woman Podcast.
See you next time. Bye.